Michigan cheated to win the national championship in 2023, but not everyone realizes just how far Michigan went to win the coveted trophy. We, at Team Rivalry, are about to expose the whole thing, and by the end of this video, you'll understand what the NCAA hammer is about to do to the so-called winningest program in football history. In the fall of 2023, Michigan began a journey that would take them to the heights of college football glory, using what can only be described as a Sherlock Holmes-level mind palace on steroids and speed. It's undeniable now that Michigan coaches and players not only memorized the entire Michigan playbook, but memorized every offensive and defensive play of 12 other teams, including the Big Ten and SEC. Using split-second precision, they were able to identify offensive and defensive lineups, and in seconds, look up the counterplay, determine how the line needed to change, signaled that change, and without a moment's hesitation or confusion, all 11 players adapted to the change and carried out their roles flawlessly. Michigan's ability to know their own playbook combined with the playbooks of 12 other teams is an absolutely phenomenal achievement in the age of modern football, one that may never be duplicated. Not only were Jim Harbaugh, Sharon Moore, and Jesse Minter absolute phenoms, gifted in their ability to memorize multiple playbooks, but they found 22 starter-quality college boys who could do the same thing. How did they achieve this feat? What I'm about to tell you is both shocking and disturbing. According to the NCAA, the University of Michigan football program bought tickets and sent about 8 inexperienced low-level staffers to watch football games. In person, mind you. But that's not the whole story. You have to realize this vast network of 8 low-level inexperienced staffers wasn't just watching football games, but they were telling Connor Stalions, perhaps the most fiendish football mastermind in history, what happened at those games. One of them even recorded that experience on a cell phone. Using this information, Jim Harbaugh methodically and meticulously built his program to win the championship. And we know how. First, he built a dominant and experienced offensive line. Michigan's unit, the recipients of back-to-back Joe Moore Awards, was the bedrock of their entire team. They provided the time for McCarthy to throw, they opened up gaping holes for Corum in the running game by controlling the line of scrimmage week after week. But here's the rub. McCarthy hardly threw the ball at all. Who needs to control the line of scrimmage if your QB can't throw anyway,
McCarthy in trouble, gets away, on the run, touchdown!
As usual, Harbaugh, using his evil powers to hide the program, lived by a classic Big Ten rule.
Run the dang ball. You heard me. Run the dang ball.
Excuse my language, but we all know that's what he did. I mean, why put the ball in the air when you can win on the ground? And they won on the ground. Blake Corum was an absolute workhorse and a scoring machine. His ability to move the ball, break tackles, and find the end zone allowed the offense to control the tempo and took immense pressure off the passing game. He was the engine that drove much of their offensive success. Or so it seemed, and that brings us to J.J. McCarthy.
You're gonna learn today.
J.J. was an efficient and clutch quarterback. He was almost recruited by Ohio State, but Harbaugh, using his powers of deception, tricked McCarthy into signing with Michigan. The NCAA has recently released the recorded phone call between Harbaugh and McCarthy, and it went something like this.
JJ, is this line secure? Coach, I'm just hanging out and meditating. Security is security, you know what I mean? I do not. I just wanted you to know I heard you were being recruited by Third Base Day. Is that true? Yeah, but he promised to sign this check and he hasn't yet. Well, that's good because I wanted you to know we play football up here too. Stop by and I'll get you a burger. I give you a tour of what we call the practice field. Maybe, don't tell anybody, but maybe we can throw the ball around a bit with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
While the call is still being authenticated, it's obviously true. JJ was reserved when it came to passing, but there was no shaking this man. He wasn't asked to carry the entire offense every game, but when they needed him, he delivered. His accuracy, his decision-making, and his ability to make those critical throws in key situations were instrumental in their success. Being named the Big Ten Quarterback of the Year speaks for itself. But offense wasn't enough for Harbaugh. His greed pushed him to want more. He built an elite and veteran defense. Scheme is important, but you need the horses, and Michigan had them. From the defensive line to the linebackers to the secondary, they were stacked with experience and NFL-caliber talent. The stingiest defense in the nation. for a reason. That reason being, not because they were good, but because they had game film from other teams or something. Once Harbaugh had his defense, he turned to coaching. Michigan had strong defensive coaching. Jesse Minter created a defense that wasn't just talented, it was brilliantly coached. They were adaptable, disciplined, and consistently found ways to shut down opposing offenses, making life miserable for quarterbacks and running backs alike. Now, Harbaugh just had to get everything to work together.
That is a phenomenal bird.
Michigan did something so astoundingly out of the ordinary for a college football team, it's hard to believe they were being investigated for anything else. Jim built a team-focused culture. Michigan's 2023 squad wasn't reliant on one or two superstars. It was a collective, a group of players who bought into a shared vision and prioritized team success over individual glory. Turns out unity in a team sport is a powerful advantage. Who knew? Someone knew. A wise coach once said, the team, the team, the team. Michigan has taken this seemingly counterintuitive view from whoever said it and made it a foundational component in their championship strategy. This is where things get spooky. Not many people realize Jim Harbaugh was a telepath, like Professor X from the X-Men, or X-People, Extra Gene Owner? Jim Harbaugh's coaching and leadership were so well ordered he didn't even have to be there because he was controlling the team telepathically. Harbaugh wasn't there for 6 games, and despite the off-field noise and the suspension, Michigan still won. Curious, isn't it? Harbaugh's impact on this program is undeniable. He built a culture of toughness and instilled a belief in this team that they could achieve anything. His leadership, even when he wasn't physically on the sidelines, permeated the entire organization. All of this gave the illusion that Michigan had the ability to win close games and perform under pressure. The road to a championship isn't always smooth, and Michigan faced tough opponents and found themselves in tight contests. Their ability to execute in those high-leverage moments, to make the crucial play when it mattered most. Think back to those battles against Penn State and, of course, Ohio State. That grit and resilience were undeniable. Harbaugh's nefarious plans led a Michigan team that didn't just win. They dominated the Big Ten. Michigan steamrolled through a traditionally tough conference, culminating in a decisive, if not boring, victory in the Big Ten championship game of 2023. Winning 3 consecutive conference titles speaks to a sustained level of excellence and proved they were the kings of their corner of the college football world. Or were they? Ohio State won the latest national championship without dominating the Big Ten. In fact, they lost to Michigan for the 4th consecutive year. This may have been Harbaugh's downfall. He got too greedy when dominating the Big Ten, but you can't stop a madman. Harbaugh took it one step further, and Michigan completed the 2023 season with a perfect 15-0 record. Look, you can talk about individual games, but going undefeated in modern college football is a monumental achievement, almost unheard of. It speaks volumes about their consistency, their ability to avoid slip-ups, and their mental fortitude week in and week out. They weren't just winning, they were finding ways to win every single time. In fact, they were the first national champion since 2001 to lead at halftime in every single one of those 15 contests. Harbaugh wanted that trophy, and clearly he was willing to do whatever he had to get it. As the NCAA investigation continues, football fans just have to realize all the clues are there. The Michigan Wolverines in 2023 were a combination of overwhelming veteran talent, exceptional coaching, a strong team culture, a perfect record, and the ability to perform under pressure, and that doesn't happen by accident, does it? Wait, this sounds like Michigan didn't cheat. Were they just that good?
The Michigan champions are